The incident I will tell you today is not a story that has been heard. Last Tuesday night, a terrible incident happened to my own cousin Russell. He still can't sleep at night out of fear. Russell brother drives a company's freezer van, or Hearse. It was almost 1 a.m. last Tuesday night. He had left Dhaka with a dead body for a remote village in Sylhet. With him was the only person in the body, the younger brother of the dead man, who was sitting next to Russell in the front seat. It was pouring rain outside, and the highway was completely empty. Occasionally, one or two big trucks were passing by, that's all. The AC was running inside the car, but the atmosphere was somehow dull. In the rear cabin, a frozen body was lying in a freezing box locked at minus temperature.
As the night approached 2 a.m., the car crossed Behrab and was on a deserted highway. There were only miles and miles of dark trees on both sides. That's when the strange things started happening. At first, Russell thought that even though the AC inside the car was off, the cabin had suddenly become incredibly cold, a cold that shivered the bones. He thought the AC had turned off, but then he noticed that the brother of the corpse sitting next to him was shivering, his eyes wide and fearfully staring at the windshield. Russell asked, "Brother, what's wrong? It feels too cold." The man didn't answer, just pointed with his hand at the rear window, the glass through which the part of the body in the back was visible from the front cabin. Russell looked at the small rear window through the driving mirror. The cabin was dark, with only the red indicator light of the freezer flashing on and off. But in the flickering of that red light, he saw something like a dim black figure sitting on top of the freezer box. Russell thought his eyes were wrong. He rubbed his eyes and looked again. This time he heard it clearly, a slapping sound coming from the back cabin, as if someone was scratching the frozen glass with their nails. Scratch, scratch, scratch. Russell's chest was pounding. He increased the car's speed. Just then, there was a loud bang on the back cabin door, as if someone had kicked it from inside. The brother of the deceased from the side cried out, "Brother, stop the car! He'll get out! My brother didn't die in peace! He'll get out!" Russell gripped the steering wheel tightly and said, "Shut up. If we stop the car on the highway, none of us will survive."
It was 3 a.m. The vehicle was passing through a road deep inside a dense forest near Habiganj. The rain had become even heavier. Suddenly, the headlights flickered and went out. For a split second, the entire world was swallowed by pitch-black darkness. Just as Russell was about to hit the brakes, the headlights came back on. But what he saw illuminated by the beams, standing right in the middle of the road, was something he was not prepared for. A figure wrapped in a white burial shroud stood motionless in the center of the road. Its face couldn't be seen, but its body was trembling in a strange, unnatural way. Russell slammed on the brakes with all his strength. The vehicle screeched to a halt just inches away from the figure. At that exact moment, the locked rear cabin door of the hearse suddenly burst open on its own. A freezing cloud of mist rushed from the freezer compartment into the front cabin, carrying with it a horrifying smell of decay. Russell and the dead man's brother pressed themselves against their seats in terror. Then, right beside Russell's ear, so close it felt like it was breathing on the back of his neck, someone let out an icy, chilling sigh. In a heavy, raspy voice, a whisper said, "It's so cold. Won't you open the door for me?" Russell didn't dare turn around. He simply closed his eyes, whispered, "Bismillah," and slammed his foot on the accelerator. The vehicle seemed to leap forward as if flying through the darkness. The rear door banged violently in the wind behind them, but Russell never looked back. When they reached that village in Sylhet at around 5 a.m., Russell had already developed a fever. As the villagers opened the freezer box at the back of the vehicle to unload the body, they froze in shock. The lock on the inside of the freezer box was broken, and the corpse, which was supposed to be completely frozen and stiff, had changed position. The body had been lying on its back, but now it was face down. Even more terrifying, the fingernails on its right hand had been completely torn off, as if it had desperately tried to open the box from the inside. Do you know what the strangest and scariest part was? The dead man's younger brother, the one who had sat beside Russell the entire journey, crying non-stop, could not be found anywhere in the village after the burial. The village elders said that the deceased never had a younger brother. He had lived completely alone. So then, who was the man sitting beside Russell throughout the journey, crying? And who or what was making those sounds from the back compartment? Even today, whenever Russell tries to sleep at night, he still hears that whisper coming from the back cabin. It's so cold. Before you go to sleep tonight, keep your room light on. Who knows, maybe someone is shivering from the cold beneath your bed or standing just beyond your door. If this story felt real to you, subscribe to the channel and let us know in the comments. Have you ever experienced something like this? Good night, Ghost.